I hate it when this daggone phone just starts recording me when I didn't press record. But anyway, welcome to Scented Pages. Welcome and welcome back to my channel, baby. I want to talk about some books. The past couple of weeks, I have been reading and listening to all the audiobooks while I've been taking out my hair. Don't stop. Don't look at it. Don't look at it. It's okay. I'm in the middle of getting it together. Probably within the next couple of times that I come on, I'm going to be back looking cute again. So make sure you stay in tune for that, because this fall is going to be so much fun. I'm looking so forward to my little fall cozy outfits and cozy reading. Matter of fact, I want to get into that, because what happened was I met my reading goal for the year. I already met it. I had set it at 60 books, and right now I'm at about 64 books. So yay, I'm so excited. And so what I want to do now, like for the rest of the year, since I've got about 3 more months or so, is to focus on my bigger books. Yeah, my big books like that I have. I got some coffee. Like Eye of the World. And right now I'm reading Stephen King's Needful Things. Oh my God, this poor book. The only thing about softback cover books is that they are so delicate. This book is coming all apart. I done already had to tape the front cover. It came completely undone. But I like softback books better, especially Stephen King's big thick books. His books are already super thick and heavy. And if I get them in hardbacks, they'll be even heavier. And I carry my books with me back and forth, like going to work and stuff. And I can't have those heavy, thick hardback cover books in my bags. That'd just be too much for me to carry. So I like the paperback books, but boy, do they take a beating in my bag. And then too, I have Fairy Tale by him that I'm gonna start. So I'm gonna start this season. I'm reading Needful Things right now, and I'm going to get around to Eye of the World probably in the last of it. I'm also reading right now Never Lie. I left that in my bag out there, but I'm also reading Never Lie right now by Freida McFadden. That was one of my library books from my last library haul. So I've actually been kind of like on this little Stephen King kick. Needful Things is good. I'm about 100 pages in or so. I marked off every 100 pages so that I can try to stay at some sort of reading pace set myself, because as you can see, this book is like almost 800 pages long or something. It's over 700 pages, but actually I'm really enjoying it. That's what I wanted to say too. I've been doing my little Stephen King thing, and I've actually been pleasantly surprised. I've been having a ball with him. I thought he was going to bore me to death. I ain't going to hold you. I really did. I thought it was going to be boring, because in my opinion, like the book Misery, it was good, but it was slow at times. However, this hasn't been slow. I've actually been really enjoying getting through Needful Things. And also, I'm also reading The Green Mile. I'm listening to that on audio, and that's not boring neither. I thought that one was going to bore me to death, and he's actually writing. I am really interested. It's holding my attention. I didn't think it was going to hold my attention like how it is, but it is, and I can't wait. What I'm going to do is read a few of his books and then do a separate like Stephen King themed video where I kind of review a few of his books. Like I got Needful Things. I'm doing The Green Mile now. I'm going to do Pet Sematary. I'm interested in. Hold on, I wrote them down. I want to do Pet Sematary. Where's the book? Oh, maybe I wrote it down in the other. Oh no, here we go. I want to do Pet Cemetery, It, Rose Matter, and Gerald's Game. So I'm looking forward to those. I'm gonna pick those up. And you know, I wanted to kind of give his roster like a general kind of pick through of a little bit of everything that he has, because he's got, you know, fantasy, like this book over here. He's got fantasy, he's got and Green Mile is fantasy, he's got thrillers, you know, just kind of horror, all of that. So I just kind of want to give him a general boop boop boop, and then I will make my final decision about him at the end of it, because like I said, my whole goal with him is to just see what all the hubbub is about. So far, I'm getting the hubbub. I'm liking it. I'm enjoying myself. So, but in this video, I came to talk to you about the, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books that I read. Is it 7? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wow. I didn't even think that I had read that many of them. I thought it was like 5 or so, but it was 7. And I've read The Wife Stalker by Liv Constantine, The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose, A Good Marriage by Stephen King, What Have You Done by Shari LaPena, Middle of the Night by Riley Sager, Everyone Here Is Lying by Shari LaPena, and The Last Mrs. Parrish by Liv Constantine. So I'm not going to give, like, you know how I usually do like a full book synopsis on all of them. I'm not going to do that, but I am going to read the blurbs to them. Oh, and talk about it. But 2, I'm also reading Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. That's like a fantasy book. That's actually not going bad. So I started that on audio, and it wasn't holding my attention in audio. I thought it was kind of boring, to be honest. However, when I started it on when I read it on my Kindle, I'm actually enjoying the words on the page. I'm actually enjoying reading it. It's relaxing and it's good. Now I don't know what it's about, but I'm gonna get further into it and do a little bit more, like read deeper into it. Cheetos over there. What's wrong? What you got fur on you? He's terrible. So, yeah, so I'm reading Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb, which is good. I'm also reading this other, on my Kindle, this other fantasy book, and it's called Spellwright by Blake Charleston, and it's about this wizard named Nicodemus, and his words, in his world, they cast spells by spelling words, but Nicodemus is kind of not doing good because he has dyslexia. So he's kind of misinterpreting and misspelling his spells, which is, you know, important not to do in this world. So I kind of want to see how he gets through that. I'm liking the concept of, you know, your words literally come into life, and that is, you know, I kind of feel like all book writers and book readers imagine that, or, you know, fantasize about, oh, you know, your words really having literal power to them. So I thought that would be an interesting little fun read for this fall too. So I'm also getting into that. I'm also reading that too. But back to the books that I already completed over the past couple weeks. First, Everyone Here Is Lying by Shari LaPena. Now, I will try my best to put the what the books look like in, like, right here or something if I can, but honey, if I can't, hop on over to Goodreads and see what the covers of these books look like. Y'all know I'm struggling on this booktube thing. I'm an old lady. If I can't help get my kids to help me with it, which they're usually pretty good with, you know, all this kind of stuff. Yeah. If I can't get my kids to help me with it, hop on over to Goodreads and look at the covers of the book. So the first one is Everyone Here Is Lying. And I read this one a couple weeks back, and it's about this man named William, and he's a married family man. Of course, they always are. And he has a couple of kids, and he is also having an affair on his wife. And on this particular day, his wife ends their affair because both of them are married. So she ends it with him, and he is absolutely heartbroken. And so he leaves like the little, they used to meet up at this little motel or whatever. So he leaves their little motel and he wants to blow off some steam or whatever. So he goes home early. So what, he's, pretty irritated and pretty upset because, his little affair or whatever has ended. When he gets home early, he notices that his 9-year-old daughter Avery is home too. Like, she's also home early. And so he's kind of irritated. And he's like, why are you home? So she, instead of answering the question, gets like kind of flipped with him, like kind of smiling, because Avery was bad as hell. I'm gonna be honest with you, she was a bad little girl. And so when she was being bad and not answering him, he got irritated with her. He was already stressed, so he popped her. I ain't gonna lie, I kind of felt like she deserved a little bit. In the book, the way that the book went and how she was talking to him, I don't feel like he was wrong for it. I mean, he didn't hit the girl repeatedly. He popped her one time, and I feel like she deserved it. So he popped her, and then he leaves the house, right? He leaves the house with his 9-year-old little girl in there by herself. Honey, terrible. So however, when he comes back, she's nowhere to be found. Like, when him and the whole family comes back, nobody can find little Avery. And so the cops, of course, get involved. She's been missing. The story is so good, how it goes through the perspectives of her mother and what she's going through, not knowing where Avery is, and her brother, who should have been the one to pick her up, but he didn't really. Well, no, I'm not gonna tell it. I'm gonna try not to give away too many spoilers in this video. But also at the same time, spoiler alert, because I do say some things about, some of the future books or whatever. So if you don't really want any spoilers or give or anything given away from the books, maybe you should stop here. Oh, and of course, in this book, the number one suspect is her father, because he popped her one time. Oh, that was a good book, though. I gave that one 5 out of 5 stars. So then next I did What Have You Done? That's also by Shari LaPena. So I'm going to read you the blurb for that one. It's a thriller mystery thriller. It says, the teenagers... Wait a minute. It says, nothing ever happens in sleepy little Fairhill, Vermont. But this morning that will change. And one innocent question could be deadly. What have you done? The teenagers get their kicks telling ghost stories in the old graveyard. The parents trust their kids will arrive home safe from school. Everyone knows everyone. Curtains rarely twitch. Front doors are left unlocked. But Diana Brewer isn't lying safe in her bed where she belongs. Instead, she lies in a hayfield, circled by vultures, discovered by a local farmer. How quickly a girl becomes a ghost. How quickly a town of friendly, familiar faces becomes a town of suspects, a place of fear and paranoia. Someone in Fairhill did this. Everyone wants answers. So I said on Goodreads that I really enjoyed this book. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. I said, so far I've enjoyed all of Shari LaPena's books, which I have. I was really surprised by who the killer actually was in this book. There were plenty of twists and red herrings to lead you to believe it was other people in Diana's life that could have killed her. There were plenty of suspects, but I loved who it ended up being. I have to get out of this box that I'm in a little bit more and think bigger and not rely on what looks so obvious when it comes to figuring out who the killer is, because I was really side blinded by it. Like, I was blown away by who it actually was. It was fun. I said I also really enjoyed the chapters that featured Diana as a spirit looking down on herself and all of the emotions that she went through post-death, and figuring out and trying to remember who actually killed her and what happened on that night. It was a really enjoyable read. I enjoyed it. I liked it. The next book I read was The Middle of the Night by Riley Sager. And I'm going to also read this blurb. Oh, wait, let me show you first what. If I can't put the pictures of the books right here, then here is what Shari LaPena's book looks like. What Have You Done? Then next, I've got The Middle of the Night by Riley Sager. It says, the worst thing to ever happen uh, on Hemlock Circle occurred in Ethan Marsh's backyard. Oh yeah, before I get into it, spoiler alert, because I think I do give some stuff away in this one. If you don't want to know about this story, don't watch the rest of the video. But it says the worst thing to ever happen in Hemlock Circle occurred in Ethan Marsh's backyard. One July night, 10-year-old Ethan and his best friend and neighbor Billy fell asleep in a tent set up on a manicured lawn in a quiet, quaint New Jersey cul-de-sac. In the morning, Ethan woke up alone. During the night, someone had sliced the tent open with a knife and taken Billy. He was never seen again. 30 years later, Ethan has reluctantly returned to his childhood home. Plagued by bad dreams and insomnia, he begins to notice strange things happening in the middle of the night. Someone seems to be roaming the cul-de-sac at odd hours, and signs of Billy's presence keep appearing in Ethan's backyard. Is someone playing a cool prank? Or has Billy, long thought to be dead, somehow returned to Hemlock Circle? The mysterious occurrences prompt Ethan to investigate what really happened that night, a quest that reunites him with former friends and neighbors and leads him into the woods that surround Hemlock Circle. Woods where Billy claimed monsters roamed and where a mysterious institute does clandestine research on a crumbling estate. The closer Ethan gets to the truth, the more he realizes that no place, be it quiet forest or suburban street, is completely safe, and that the past has a way of haunting the present. This was a really good book. I enjoyed this one. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars, and I only took a star off because I kind of feel like all the time with Riley Sager, he leaves some sort of hole in the plot. Or maybe I just didn't catch it, but I'll tell you what it was by the end of my review. So what I've read on Goodreads is, I said it was a cute book. I liked it. Riley Sager and I have a very love-hate relationship. I always enjoy his stories until I get to the end, or until I have too much time and space to really think shit over. I liked that the flashback scenes were set in the 90s and that Ethan was so close to my age. He's like 40 and I'm 39. He was 10 years old in 1994 and I was 9. So a lot of the things he mentioned from that time period I remember. And that, of course, brought along with it so many feelings of nostalgia, especially when he mentioned some of the popular bands during that time, like 9 Inch Nails and Ace of Base. I was definitely an Ace of Base girly, but honey, I saw the sign and it opened up my eyes. I saw the sign. I never know the words to no songs. Sorry. But it was my jam. 9-year-old me loved them. So, I said, so in this story, Ethan and his homeboy Billy have a sleepover one night out Ethan's backyard in a tent. I said stupid. Because I'm like, I know my mother would never let me just sleep in the backyard. It seems really vulnerable and dangerous to just be out in your backyard with no adults, no nobody, just you and your homeboy sleeping in the backyard in your tent. Honey. I said, and I don't think any of my friends' parents would have let us do it either. I said, I remember one day when I spent the night over one of my girlfriend's house when I was little, and her dad literally told me how much more alert and even more overly protective he was over us when we stayed over because we were someone else's kid. Staying out in a tent seems dangerous and dumb. Like someone could just come up and snatch you out of it at any time. I said, so anyways, during this sleepover, someone snatches Billy and he is never seen again. Fast forward 30 years, and Ethan moves back into the house after his parents relocate to Florida. And then it gets real. Like, shit just really hits the fan once he moves back. I'm not going to read the rest of my review because I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I don't want to give it away. See, so what I'll do is I'll give away spoilers and stuff when I actually do like my individual little book talks and stuff. But when I'm giving you like, my catch ups and things like that, reading catch ups, I won't give the spoilers away. I won't be that annoying of a channel. But I couldn't understand just, okay. I'll just say this. I really wonder, this is what made me take a star off. I will address this because I said I was going to address what made me take a star off. I really wonder what made, because in the book, Billy's body does pop back up 30 years later. Did I miss what made Billy's body pop back up? Why, after 30 years, did this boy's body just show back up out of nowhere again? It drove me up the wall for like 3 days straight after I finished this book. Because why wouldn't you explain that? Where did it come from? And it was just so conveniently there after. It's okay. It was still a really good book. I still gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Then next, I read The Wife Stalker, and this was by Liv Constantine, and this is about a family, and this couple named Joanna and Leo, and they've been going through a few things. Her mom is like really old and sick, and so she has to like take care of her mom, and he's also been dealing with some like really bad depression and stuff. So she leaves the house to go and take care of her mother. When she does, she like suggests to Leo that he should go and maybe get some help. And, try to figure out a way through this depression that he's in. So he does that, and he ends up going to like this like wellness retreat or something. Well, honey, he ends up meeting little Miss Piper. Okay, and he ends up getting all tangled up with Miss Piper, and Joanna is pissed about it. And he ends up, of course, leaving Joanna, his wife, for Piper. And Joanna just goes off the deep end, honey. Once he leaves her and divorces her, well, no, I don't know if they had divorced at that point. But he leaves her. When he leaves her, Joanna, the wife, starts to dig into Piper's past and find out who all Piper is. And she finds out that Piper had a previous marriage and that her previous husband and his daughter both died in a tragic boating accident that him and her and Piper were all on. Piper is like not a pilot, a sailor or whatever. She drives like boats and whatnot. So her previous family had died in a boating accident. So Joanna's like, well, that's really weird and strange, and I don't like it, and I don't want her around my children, and I don't trust her, and so I'm about to break all this shit up. Well, honey, it was a mess. Because don't believe everything that you read in that book. It was spectacular. Liv Constantine is another one that I am digging right now. Shari LaPena, Liv Constantine, and Frida McFadden. I've been hooked all year on them. They have what got me to my reading goals so quickly because I have been eating them up. Eating up the books. So yes. So Joanna, let me see. It was good. Oh, it was giving that book The Wife Stalker by Liv Constantine was also very much so giving the next Mrs. Parrish, like in the best way, honey. I could tell that it was written by the same authors. In this book, The Wife Stalker felt kind of like if Daphne and Amber from the next Mrs. Parrish, if their roles were reversed and Amber was actually a good person and Daphne was the evil, troublesome wife. It's kind of like told from a reverse point of view in that way. The Wife Stalker is good. So, like I said, but be careful who you trust in that book. But speaking of Amber and Daphne and the next Mrs. Parrish, I read The Last Mrs. Parrish, which was the next book in the series. It was so good. I loved it. it was just as good and juicy and twisty turny as the first one. And so in this one, Jackson gets out of jail and decides that he wants Daphne and his girls back, honey, and the web is spun. Tallulah, Daphne and Jackson's oldest daughter, she was the worst. She was an irritating little girl. She would not stay on her mother's side. But I also felt like Daphne was kind of stupid during this. Daphne's really a nice person. She's a sweet girl, but sometimes nice people can be goofy. And she was definitely being goofy in this one. You see did I show you my latest Stanley, my fall Stanley? I love the color. I thought for sure that it was giving fall color, deep burnt orange. It's so cute. I've got water in it, ice water. I've been loving putting my water in it, and it just stays cold all day. So yeah, I felt like Daphne was making stupid decisions. They introduced new characters in The Last Mrs. Parrish. I like Daisy and her character and how she is played into Jackson and Daphne and Amber's life. It was really good. I gave that one a 4 out of 5 stars. So let me read you the blurb for that one real quick, because I got it, so that you can know specifically how that one goes. It says, Amber Patterson is fed up. She's tired of being a nobody, a plain, invisible woman. A plain, invisible woman who, no, I did the wrong one. I made a mistake. See, the daggone book titles are so similar. I looked up, I set aside the blurb for The Last Mrs. Parrish. Yeah, that is right. Oh, okay, I'm thinking of The Next Mrs. Parrish. The titles are confusing, but I think I've read The Last Mrs. Parrish. Well, why does it sound like... Well, why did they write the Last Mrs. Parrish? This looks like the same blurb from the first one. This isn't right. Oh, this is annoying. Honey, anyway, read the book. It was good. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I wanted to try to read you the blurb, but I didn't screenshot the wrong blurb. Next, let's get into some effed up, I'm trying not to cuss. Effed up, jacked up, messed up marriages, honey. I've read The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose and A Good Marriage by Stephen King. So, The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose. This is the book that I read when I was on vacation with my mom in Georgia. And I'm actually really glad, because my intentions was to read it, was to listen to it with her. I'm actually really glad that I didn't. Because, honey, it had some language in it. And it was a little deep with the subject matter. She'd have been in there like, look, Aisha. I suggested to her that we listen to it together. She was like, absolutely not, girl. Ain't nobody trying to be listening to no book for you with you for 10 hours straight. I was like, okay. So she didn't listen to it with me, but I was happy because it was a little saucy, a little spicy. It was delicious. So it says, Sarah Morgan is a successful and powerful defense attorney in Washington, D.C. At 33 years old, she is named partner at her firm, and life is going exactly how she planned. The same cannot be said for her husband, Adam. He is a struggling writer who has had little success in his career. He begins to tire of his and Sarah's relationship as he is constantly working. Out in the secluded woods at Adam and Sarah's second home, Adam engages in a passionate affair with Kelly Summers. Then one morning, everything changes. Adam is arrested for Kelly's murder. She had been found stabbed to death in Adam and Sarah's secret home. Sarah soon finds herself playing the defender for her own husband, a man accused of murdering his mistress. Now, this was good. So I listened to this on the way up and the way back from Georgia. The ending was totally out of left field. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I completely just, this book was good. It was a bit unbelievable, because they asked the question of, would you be able to defend your husband if he was accused of killing his mistress? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I just want a divorce and wish him good luck on his new chapter in life, on his new ventures. May he fare well. I wouldn't defend anything because that ain't got nothing to do with me. You cut me out of the picture when you went ahead on with your mistress, so I couldn't personally. But the book is good. You should give it a read. But I kind of feel like, isn't that like also like some sort of conflict of interest or something? Like, you would think that she wouldn't be able to represent her husband in his murder trial as his lawyer. That seems messy. Really messy. And I mean, aside from not wanting to do it, ain't that illegal? Wouldn't she have like, wouldn't they be some concern of like some sort of bias or something? Or that she could be like maybe tampering with some evidence or something? I don't know. But that seems a little sticky and a little messy. Needless to say, however, it was a really good book. And the ending, spectacular. I didn't see it coming. If I do a what's the face about it, a video about it, then I'll talk about the ending and how I really feel about the ending. The ending was good though, but I don't think I'm gonna make a separate video on that. And then last but certainly not least, I read a Stephen King book called The Perfect Marriage, and it's also a movie. Let me see, how long have I been talking? Oh, okay, not too bad. It's also a movie, and it's about this couple, and the wife and him, I forget their names, they have been married for over 20 years, almost 30 years. They've had a good marriage. That's why it's called a good marriage. So she thinks, honey. You know, I watched the movie, and so the movie opens up and they're celebrating, pretty much of them celebrating their 25-year anniversary. And they seem so happy. They've raised 2 children together, and they've got their friends and their families there, and the husband gives the wife a pair of earrings, like fish earrings, and he says it's because she's a Pisces or whatever. All right, cool. Honey, fast forward, and you hear on the news that there is this serial killer that's still been out after, like 30 years or whatever. He's been killing for a long time. And she one day is looking for some battery remotes, and she goes out to his garage, and she stumbles upon some damning evidence in his garage, and it goes from there. I don't want to give it away. It's so good. Of course, I'm pretty sure that you can guess at this point whose ass is the murderer or whatever. But it still gets worse from there. I still haven't given away everything. You gotta read the book. I gave that one 5 out of 5 stars. Because it was a thrill. It was definitely thrilling. It was good. It wasn't boring. I'm enjoying it. I can't wait to make my whole little Stephen King video. Oh, my alarm went off. Hold on. I can't wait to read my whole, do my whole Stephen King wrap-up review video. I'm going to probably do it in like a month or so with all of the Stephen King books just in one clump. Hopefully, all works out well for that. But at any rate, let me make sure that I go through my notes, make sure I have mentioned everything that I wanted to. I think I did. Let me see, I went over all the books. Yep, one. Alrighty, I guess I will wrap this up. I have some things to do. It's the weekend. I'm so excited that it's finally Friday. I get to relax. And I will see you next video.